There is another risk that you're not aware of, and it's a crazy risk. It is the liquidity risk that you have in your mutual funds or your PMS or your AIF products. So mutual funds being the most common, I'm going to start with that, or rather focus more on this. When you invest in certain funds which further invest your money into those companies which don't have a lot of liquidity, which you are not even aware of because you're not tracking liquidity, the fund manager is. What does the fund manager do? In case in the stocks that he buys, उसमें trading कम हो जाए या बंद हो जाए या पहले से ही कम थी, what do? So first, what they try to do first, I'll tell you that. What they try to do is they invest in large and mid caps to mitigate the risk. So अगर वो small cap का fund भी है, तो they'll try to put some money into large and mid cap so that liquidity is created. My name is Arpit Arora. I'm India's leading personal finance expert and passive income coach, and I'm on that quest to change the middle class of India and transform their financial life in such a way that they are able to have the potential to follow their passion. They have the focus to follow their passion. They are not distracted by money because they're creating enough passive income, and most importantly, they're able to live with inner peace and joy. And that, my friends, happens by winning the game of money. That happens when you upgrade your financial IQ, and that most importantly happens when you are committed to achieve financial freedom in your life. Because it cannot happen without a commitment, and it is my commitment to make sure you get all the support that you need to walk and achieve that destination. There is another risk that you're not aware of, and it's a crazy risk. It is the liquidity risk that you have in your mutual funds or your PMS or your AIF products. So mutual funds being the most common, I'm going to start with that, or rather focus more on this. When you invest in certain funds which further invest your money into those companies which don't have a lot of liquidity, which you are not even aware of because you're not tracking liquidity, the fund manager is. What does the fund manager do? In case in the stocks that he buys, उसमें trading कम हो जाए या बंद हो जाए या पहले से ही कम थी, what do? So first, what they try to do first, I'll tell you that. What they try to do is they invest in large and mid caps to mitigate the risk. So अगर वो small cap का fund भी है, तो they'll try to put some money into large and mid caps so that liquidity is created. Or they'll hold, you must have noticed many mutual funds sometimes hold 2, 3, 4, 5, even 10, 12% तक का cash in the portfolio, if you actually track. And they also try to diversify their holdings. So if they're buying companies which are not very liquid, they try to diversify as much as possible. Like one such fund, which has a 20,000 AUM, invest in 168 stocks. 168 stocks is what they invested just to make sure that this problem is solved. But despite doing that, the problem is still not solved. Why? Because I'll first tell you why this happens. There is a mismatch that arises because of the capacity constraints that happened in the strategy. In other words, if I'm investing in any fund, और उसमें से रिटर्न अच्छा आ रहे हैं तो और लोग उसमें इन्वेस्ट करेंगे. When more people start investing into it, then there are only buyers, there are not enough sellers. Or people have invested and they've forgotten, but day-to-day buying and selling is not happening in that company. So up till a certain point, let's say किसी एक स्टॉक में 1 लाख शेयर्स बाय सेल हो रहे हैं रोज, up to 25-30% तक का अगर मैं ही होल्डर हो जाता हूँ उस कंपनी में, everything is fine. But if I start becoming a holder of more than that in any company, then what happens? Then I am all the buyer and I have to find a seller if I have to exit out of it. The similar thing is happening in the small cap industry right now. Small cap funds, by the way, have given 13% returns in the last 5 years on a category average versus 10.5% than large cap. So a lot of people today are preferring small cap because they've seen small cap में बहुत पैसा आया है. Here is what they're missing. Small cap funds as a percentage of AUM and time to exit मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. Fund A, Fund B, Fund C, Fund D and Fund E. 5 fund हैं. These are the 5 biggest funds in the small cap industry. What this data is showing, Fund A, 29 companies. 29 कंपनीज को 1 to 3 months लगेंगे एग्जिट करने में फंड ए में से. It will take another 3 to 6 months to completely exit from their investments in case for the next 20 companies. For the next 10 companies in that mutual fund, it will take them 6 months to a year. There are certain companies the mutual fund will not even be able to sell even after a year. It will take them more than a year to exit. ये तो best fund है. Second biggest fund that we see, उसके अंदर 17 such companies जिसको 1 साल लग जाएगा exit करने में, and 10 and 5 and 14 respectively. So in case people start, and what happens is, when do people exit from a particular fund? When do people exit from a particular fund? And people do it in a lot of people do it in masses when there is a panic, because when they need the fund, सबकी need scattered है. लेकिन अगर market एक panic create कर दे और market गिर गई 30%, 50%, now what? Now what will happen? Everyone would want to exit together. When all the market is falling in a way like that, what do people want to do? People want to sell. They want to exit out of that fund. And that is exactly when this thing is going to now come into play. Small cap mutual funds have seen as much as 80% drawdowns. ये तो सिर्फ इंडेक्स का है. अगर आप एक पर्टिकुलर फंड का देखोगे तो आप 90% ड्रॉडाउन भी देख सकते हो. ड्रॉडाउन मींस पीक से लेके बॉटम तक, किसी भी हाईएस्ट लास्ट पीक से लेके बॉटम तक. तो 90% ड्रॉडाउन का मतलब आपने अगर 10 लाख रुपए लगाए तो 1 लाख की वैल्यू रहेगी. क्यों? बिकॉज पहली बात तो आप शायद सेल भी ना कर पाओ जो आपको जरूरत है, because it will take them certain amount of time to exit out of that company, or they will sell it at whatever price possible because there is not enough liquidity. So when they sell it at whatever price possible, तो already falling का price और नीचे आ जाएगा. That is one main reason why, and I'm going to tell you the entire psychology. That is one main reason why we have not asked investors to invest in small cap funds through us, because we feel that there is not enough liquidity when you invest into this, and these are those investments where you can just put a little bit amount of money and forget it, and probably take out the money when the funds are in their best times rather than when they're in their worst times. Most people do quite the opposite. Can you just imagine if you put 10 lakh rupees, uski value 1 lakh hai. Most people at 5 or 6 lakhs would exit. They will not even wait till 1 lakh, and they will probably not invest it again. So it's always better to stick your money. I often say that even if you're a high risk investor, mid cap is a better segment where the risk adjusted return is better. मतलब अगर आप 1 रुपए का रिस्क ले रहे हो तो 3 रुपए का रिटर्न ले रहे हो. बट स्मॉल कैप में होता है कि आप 1 रुपए का रिस्क लेके 3.5 रुपए ले रहे हो, तो it's not as good as a mid cap जहाँ पे returns थोड़ा सा कम है but risk बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है, and not as much as small cap, and it has good liquidity in it too. We often look at volatility as risk, but if you are very serious about making wealth and making sure you always make money, don't forget to overlook the liquidity risk as well, because that is another matrix that you don't even, until today I'm sure almost none of us would actually have even paid any attention or heed to it. Am I right? लिक्विडिटी रिस्क के बारे में पहले तो कभी ध्यान नहीं दिया होगा, सोचा भी नहीं होगा. इनफैक्ट मेनी पीपल गेट स्टक बाय इन्वेस्टिंग इनटू स्टॉक्स देमसेल्व्स, जो बाद में लिक्विड हो जाते हैं. So this can happen in both ways, even if through mutual funds or investing through yourself into small cap funds too.